You've probably seen this image before. A man in white robes standing above a crowd of worshippers, arms stretched to the sky. Looks like something out of the Bible. Except this isn't a church, and he isn't a savior. It's Jared Leto, Oscar winner, rock star, professional messiah cosplayer, and in front of him there's hundreds in matching white, bowing like extras in a knockoff Bible epic. Some of them paid over $6,000 for the privilege. His followers call him prophet. His band tweets, "Yes, this is a cult," jokingly, but not really. What you see is not some failed guru in the desert. This is one of the most famous actors alive, a man who turned Jesus cosplay into a business model that would have ended most careers, and he's still getting away with it. For over 20 years, stories about Jared Leto have been floating around Hollywood. Inappropriate stuff with underage girls, sexual misconduct, predatory behavior that's such an open secret. Major directors joke about it on Twitter, but instead of destroying his career, the guy's worth $90 million. Studios keep casting him. His band sells out arenas. His fans worship him like he's literally divine. I mean, how do you even pull that off? How do you go from mediocre actor to untouchable false messiah with a business empire built on spiritual manipulation? Well, Jared Leto isn't an artist, he's an architect. For 3 decades, he's been systematically building false personas, each one designed to shield him from consequences while extracting maximum cash from his followers. Method acting genius, spiritual guru, ageless vampire cult leader. Every identity serves the same purpose: keep the real Jared safe while the money keeps flowing. And here's what should piss off every Christian watching this. What Leto's done isn't just sketchy behavior, it's systematic blasphemy. He took the imagery of Christ, the symbol of sacrifice and redemption, and turned them into a personal brand designed to facilitate the exact opposite of Christian values. This is how Jared Leto weaponized Jesus to build a cult, and why it's time to expose this false messiah for what he really is. The Jared Leto myth starts with tragedy, because of course it does. He was born December 26, 1971, day after Christmas, which he definitely used later as symbolism. His father kills himself when Jared's 8. His mom joins the hippie movement, raises her sons in this artistic, nomadic lifestyle bouncing across the country. I mean, it's compelling, right? Makes you want to root for the guy. But watch what happened. He learned early that personal suffering could be monetized. Trauma becomes mystique. Being different isn't just acceptable, it's marketable. By 1994, he lands Jordan Catalano in My So-Called Life. The show gets cancelled after 1 season, but it does something crucial for Jared's future. Creates his first cult following. Teenage girls across America fall in love with his brooding, mysterious character. People magazine put him on their 50 most beautiful people list twice. Now here's where it gets interesting. Instead of capitalizing on heartthrob status like any normal person would, Jared immediately starts distancing himself from it. Chooses challenging, edgy roles, starts a band, cultivates this image of someone too artistic, too committed, too serious for mainstream success. He understood something most actors don't get. Scarcity creates value. Make yourself seem inaccessible. Position yourself as an artist, and suddenly you can command premium prices for limited access. The foundation was set. Now he needed to build the personas that would let him operate with total impunity. In 1997, he plays the Olympic runner Steve Prefontaine. To prepare, he trains as a runner for 6 weeks, meets with Prefontaine's family, pushes himself to run in Prefontaine's exact style. This was legit method acting. Disciplined, respectful, purposeful, and it worked. He gets great reviews, but somewhere along the way, he discovers something. The more extreme his preparation gets, the more attention it generates, and attention in Hollywood translates directly to money. Fast forward to 2007, he's playing John Lennon's assassin, Mark David Chapman. He gains 67 pounds. The weight gain gives him gout, puts him in a wheelchair. "I couldn't walk for long distances," he tells reporters. "My body was in shock." Method acting had transformed from technique into brand. Suffering for your art. I mean, that's so method. But traumatizing co-workers is even more method. Then comes Dallas Buyers Club. In 2013, Jared loses 30 pounds, shaves his eyebrows, waxes his entire body to play Rayon, a transgender woman with AIDS. And here's the crucial detail. He stays in character for the entire 25-day shoot. The director said, "I don't know Leto. Jared never showed me Jared." The performance earns him an Oscar. But here's the detail that reveals everything about how this guy operates. He was first sent the script for Dallas Buyers Club 15 years earlier when he was 27. He never even read it. Only when the film becomes a prestige project with A-list stars does he suddenly get interested in this challenging, transformative role. The Oscar was crucial. It gave Jared institutional legitimacy, proved his extreme methods produced results, and provided cover for what came next. Because by 2016, for Suicide Squad, Jared Leto's method acting had evolved into something completely different, something that had nothing to do with craft and everything to do with control. During filming of Suicide Squad, he sends his co-stars gifts: used condoms, anal beads, a live rat to Margot Robbie, dead pig to the table read, sticky porn magazines. "I did a lot of things to create a dynamic," he tells reporters. The Joker doesn't really respect personal space or boundaries. Entertainment media reports this as evidence of incredible commitment. Here's an actor so dedicated, he'll traumatize his co-workers for his art.
Now, how about the gifts you gave everyone? Yeah. Rats, bullets, a hog. Where did that come from?
Don't forget the anal beads.
Who did you send anal beads to?
The used condoms.
You did not.
Yeah. I did a lot of things to create a dynamic, to create an element of surprise.
Yeah, I got that. Jared sent.
Wait a minute, we can't just skip over that.
Yeah.
You get a used condom. What do you say? What do you think?
You say Jared has gone full Joker.
I can't even begin to tell you the weird things I got.
It's condoms.
Yeah, he sent used condoms and
Anal beads.
sticky Playboy magazines.
But let's be real for a second about what actually happened here. Jared used method acting as justification for sexual harassment. He sent pornography and sex toys to his female co-stars and called it artistic. He violated their personal space and labeled it character work. This was just assault with a creative excuse. And here's the part that reveals the entire con. In 2017, Jared tells Entertainment Weekly that most of it was total bullshit. By 2021, he's claiming the gifts were given with a spirit of fun and adventure, and there were no used condoms. So which is it? It doesn't matter. He proved he can harass co-workers, call it art, and the media will clap. When Suicide Squad drops, Jared Leto is on screen for maybe 10 minutes. The performance gets trashed, but the mission was accomplished. He will do anything for his art. At this point, the shield was complete.
Look, you work the way you work, I'll work the way I work. You can kiss my ass if you don't like it.
In 2013, the same year, he wins his Oscar. 30 Seconds to Mars starts using a phrase that will define the next phase of his career. Yes, this is a cult. Jared claims it's a joke, a response to journalists saying we have such a cult following. But watch what happens next. The joke becomes official band branding, shows up on merchandise, gets featured in music videos, becomes their calling card. In 2015, the band launches Camp Mars, a weekend retreat in Malibu where fans can unplug and spend time with the band. The initial price was $999 for 2 nights of outdoor camping, but you have to bring your own tent. By 2019, Camp Mars evolved into something else entirely, Mars Island, a 3-day retreat in Croatia, costing up to $6,500 for the VIP experience. The imagery from Mars Island should disturb anyone with basic knowledge of Christianity. Jared Leto dressed in flowing white robes, leading silent processions through pine forests. Hundreds of followers wearing matching white garments, sitting at his feet. Jared with his arms raised on cliff tops. Disciples mirroring his pose below. I mean, this wasn't spiritual exploration. It was just Jesus cosplay with a $6,500 admission fee, and the fans called it transcendent. Band's Twitter posts photos, yes, this is a cult, #Mars Island. But at this point, the joke became reality. The fans reportedly called Jared prophet. The band performs at events dubbed Church of Mars, all centered around Jared Leto as spiritual authority. You know, the same guy who sends used condoms to co-workers. And here's what should infuriate every Christian. Jared was systematically stealing the imagery of Christ while engaging in behavior that contradicts every Christian value, using symbols of salvation to facilitate manipulation and, as we'll see, potential exploitation. Religious appropriation wasn't limited to Mars Island. In 2018, at the Met Gala, Jared arrives as literal Jesus Christ, powder blue tuxedo with priest-like vestments, golden crown reminiscent of Christ's crown of thorns, the Joker as Christ figure, a mass-murdering clown as spiritual teacher. I mean, yeah, nothing says enlightened wisdom like Batman's psychotic nemesis in a Jesus costume. This is just systematic blasphemy. He took the central figure of Christianity and turned him into personal brand, used the imagery of sacrifice and redemption to make himself a spiritual authority. while facing decades of allegations suggesting the exact opposite. But the most disturbing part isn't the appropriation itself. It's how effective it's been at generating both money and protection. Let's talk about numbers, because the spiritual guru thing isn't just about control, it's about cash. Mars Island charges $6,500 for 3 days. That's over $2,000 per day. Reports suggest hundreds of fans participate. If just 100 people attend at top tier, that's $650,000 in revenue for a single event. With the cost of Croatian venue, some yoga mats, volunteer staff who probably work for free because they're thrilled to be there. 30 Seconds to Mars built a Guinness World Record turning operation. 300 shows during their longest tour. But this isn't about music, it's about selling proximity to Jared himself. Fans aren't paying for songs, they're paying for access to their prophet. The genius of the spiritual authority thing is it transforms every transaction into a religious experience. You're not purchasing merchandise, you're displaying faith. Religious framing also provides protection from criticism. Any questioning gets dismissed as persecution. Former fans who speak out get labeled as people who lost faith. The echelon uses hashtags like "you wouldn't understand" to create us versus them mentality, reinforcing group loyalty. But the spiritual guru thing is just the storefront, because behind the scenes, Reddit, Robinhood, Uber, Airbnb, Slack, Spotify, the guy was betting on Silicon Valley while selling salvation to teenage girls. In 2018, actor Dylan Sprouse tweets, "Yo, at Jared Leto, now that you've slid into the DMs of every female model, aged 18 to 25, what would you say your success rate is?" Director James Gunn replies, "He starts at 18 on the internet? I mean, it's been 20 years of whispers, industry jokes, open secrets." Then finally on June 7th, 2025, the dam broke. Airmail drops The Cult of Leto, 9 women, institutional journalism, real reporting resources. After 2 decades of rumors, someone finally did the work. Jared's representatives expressly deny all allegations. The 2025 Airmail expose represents something new in Jared Leto's story. Institutional journalism taking allegations seriously. The cultural moment has shifted. Spiritual guru aesthetic that seemed edgy in 2015 now looks like what it always was: expensive therapy for people with too much money and too little sense. Social media democratized accountability. When Ali Tales shared her story on Instagram, dozens of women immediately responded with similar experiences, and new generations are less willing to ignore predatory behavior from their idols. The architect's blueprint don't work on people who've seen this con before. When your masks start arguing with each other, the audience stops believing either one. But most importantly, false personas are starting to contradict each other. The spiritual guru who charges $6,500 for enlightenment, the method actor who admits his most famous preparation was total bullshit, the ageless vampire who's clearly aging despite desperate attempts to maintain youth. This isn't a story of an eccentric artist whose behavior has been misunderstood. This is blueprint for how someone with minimal talent but maximum ambition can weaponize American celebrity culture to build an untouchable empire. The tragedy isn't just the victims who've come forward, it's how our culture created the perfect environment for this to thrive. But hey, maybe the sun's finally rising on this particular vampire's empire. Allegations are piling up, contradictions are impossible to ignore. The cult of Jared Leto isn't just about one man's manipulation, it's about our collective willingness to be manipulated. Now, picture that cliff in Croatia again. White robes, arms raised, hundreds of followers below. The caption says, "Yes, this is a cult. Maybe it's time we stopped laughing and started listening."